Do you know, I've not been this scared for a long time.
Witch trials, imprisonment and untimely death await the Most Haunted team as we journey to Devon. And this week I've brought my team to Exeter and to a place where witches once stood trial and many people were imprisoned. Welcome to Most Haunted and Exeter Old Courts. Built on the site of a Roman settlement following the Norman conquest, the courts have a long and often bloody history. Many would have been sentenced to death here over the years, and it was the location of the infamous Bideford witch trials which resulted in the last ever hanging for witchcraft in England. Given its fascinating history, which in turn has generated many stories of ghostly sightings, it is little wonder that Most Haunted have chosen to investigate. But what will we unearth tonight? We have 24 hours to find out. These are the cells, and unsurprisingly, many people feel deep depression or even desperation when entering this forbidding place. Some even experience an uncontrollable anger. The sound of chains is said to permeate the very fabric of this building. But it's cell number 9 that still imprisons a terrifying entity. The ghost of a large male prisoner lurks here, angry that his incarceration has lasted past his death. He is said to confront any unsuspecting guest with an echoing voice shouting, "I'm bad." This is the courtyard, and if the stories are to be believed, then it's a very haunted place to be. Many people have seen the ghosts of soldiers, some of them carrying pikes. They're thought to be escorting judges to and from the assizes. Other people have seen what's described as witches hanging from the gates. Two adult spirits are said to haunt this, the post room. One is a dark-haired woman who is seen curled into the fetal position, sobbing uncontrollably. The other is a tall man who is thought to be desperate to communicate. The spirits of mischievous children are also witnessed here and thought to be responsible for the faulty electrics, which can turn on and off on their own accord. Would historian Leslie Smith be able to tell us more of the court's brutal past and the many that had final justice administered here?
We nowadays look at Exeter in a new way in terms of witches. I say a new way because there's been so much interest of it over the last years, particularly the Bideford witches, 3 of them. What makes them unusual is they were actually tried in the 1660s. Their names were Temperance Lloyd, Susanna Edwards and Mary Trembles. Some say they're the last witches to be hung in England, and indeed, most of the evidence seems to point that that's the case. Other crimes, however, were tried here and people were given a particular form of justice. That is to go to Botany Bay and look at the New World and populate it. In 1788, a great group of people was sent from here, from the assizes. I have the names in my hand. Let's see if Brian finds them later, or some of them, sent away to populate the new shores of the far lands of Australia.
I believe that this is the first time that Kieran and I have actually been on an investigation together in what was once a working course of law. And given the location's long history and the many stories concerning those tried here, I wondered what parapsychologist Dr. Kieran O'Keefe was thinking regarding the coming investigation. Kieran, this obviously is a courtroom. Is this the first time we've done an investigation in a courtroom before together?
I think so, yeah. We have done some locations where there would have been trials set, but as in an actual working courtroom looking exactly like this. I think this is the first.
It's very, very eerie, isn't it? Because it's got this sort of modern feel, especially the courtroom, and yet apparently lots of activity here, dating back hundreds of years.
Yeah, it is a very bizarre location with a lot of layers, a lot of historical layers and a lot of different sorts of phenomena. And depending on which part of the location you're in, there's different phenomena that happens. There's some auditory, there's some visual, there's even some EVP, which I'm quite interested in.
What about the cells, which I know are a very creepy place? Are you looking forward to investigating those areas?
I am. I'm particularly interested in the cells because of the oppressive atmosphere that people have reported, the fact that it is underground, but also cell number 9 is a particular location within that environment where people have reported a whispering sound, almost to the point where they've been able to decipher exactly what the whisper is. So I'm interested in the cells because of the variety of phenomena, but also because I think it's a psychological hotbed of activity. If you go down to the cells, you know exactly what would have gone on there. You know that people would have been incarcerated, horrific crimes, there would have been a lot of emotion, and I think that preys on people's minds when they're down there.
Now, a lot of people have seen the ghosts of soldiers outside carrying pikes, dating back to the time of the assizes. And I suppose that must be very interesting for all of us, really, because we're thinking modern, because this is a modern building.
Yeah, it's a very good test for us and also the medium as well, that there's not really a lot of visual cues around, because you're right, we're sitting in a very modern-looking courtroom, but we're actually sitting in a location that has lots of layers and a castle going back to Norman times. So it's great from that perspective.
Joined by medium and psychic artist Brian Shepherd, we take our first steps into Exeter Old Courts. What phantoms will we encounter over the coming hours?
I feel like we're walking into an area, you know, of activity, of great activity.
But what I think we're talking about is definitely witchcraft.
Angry, big man. Something's crying down here.
The Most Haunted team are in Exeter, investigating the incredibly rich paranormal history of the old courts. We begin with our customary lit walk-around to orientate ourselves to our surroundings once darkness falls, and in the hope of meeting some of the spirits that are said to haunt this impressive building. What will we unleash over the coming night?
As soon as you walk in somewhere like this, can you see things in front of you?
Yeah, I don't know, I just get the feeling of military, of soldiers.
What time period? Can you perhaps... Sorry, so soon.
God, 1600s, late 1600s, I suppose. As you say, you just get a sense of that, you know, being surrounded with a lot of activity, you know, a lot of movement. It definitely is. A lot of it is soldiers carrying things, maybe, I don't know, what were they, some sort of pike or something, if you like, you know.
Well, how about we walk over to the main building and see what you pick up there?
I think that would be very interesting.
All right, come on then.
Do.
Having satisfied ourselves to the surroundings that the old court stand in, we moved inside to the courtroom. Strangely modern given its long history, but understandable when you appreciate it was still in judicial use up until 2004.
Here we go. I'm very interested to what you get in here.
Well, this is something else, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Well, there's lots of things coming in, and it's trying to sort it out. It's a bit of a jumble.
What I sense is that we have to go back, you know, centuries ago. I feel that, you know, this is where harsh sentences obviously were handed out to people for...
So in this space...
In this space
in this
as
space
opposed
now,
to what we're looking at now.
And when you say harsh, what do you mean?
Well, in terms of, you know, the death sentence, more often than not. But what I think we're talking about along that same period is definitely witchcraft. And I sense, I get a feeling of women here accused of witchcraft.
Okay.
You know, I'm sensing one or two names.
Tell me the names.
A Mary, a Temperance.
That's very clear. You're coming out with these names
yeah,
very clear.
it's just that there are a few, you know, and I'm trying to sift through them and put them in their place, if you like. We're talking about having people hanged here or deported. That's another feeling I get very, very strongly, that many people here were facing deportation.
Okay. Can you put I don't want you to describe this Mary and this Temperance, but could you put on, you know, an age on them when they were tried and
yeah, I think you know, you're only, as far as I can see anyway, you're only talking about maybe 20s or 30s or something. You're not talking about elderly.
So young
women.
girls.
Younger women.
Yeah.
Okay. Most definitely.
All right, but there's just the two that are here that are strong.
I've got another name, and Alice crops up. Mm-hmm. You know, comes into my mind.
We'll get Leslie to verify everything in a second. Let's move on. Let's move out of here. What are you getting around this area?
Do you know? Well, I'll tell you straight away, because previously I had come down here and sat within this cell here, which is 9.
Oh, to do the drawing.
So yeah, to do the drawing. What I got was the image of a large man. I couldn't see his features that well. I mean, I tried to sketch it out as best I. Was that a cry? Yeah. Here, I thought I picked up a name of John, and I'm now placing that here, if you like.
What did he do? Do you have any idea what this big guy called John did centuries ago?
I think, well, the reason he was here, you mean, in the conference is, I think what he had done, he had been tried and accused. Well, he'd been accused of murder. I think he'd been accused of murder, of murdering some other person. Was that a high-pitched deal?
Yeah. Who do you think it is that's making the noise?
Well, I don't know. We're talking about a person that I have felt here, the person I will call John.
John.
For now, OK? Now, every time I've done that, we've got the noise. So, I mean,
OK.
You know, we're...
And can I just ask you, from your point of view, from a spiritual point of view, if we hear we always assume that it's a woman. That's not necessarily true, is it?
I think it's more a means of communication. I don't think it's because it sounds at that pitch. Was that it again? Yeah. That it's not necessarily a woman. It's just a means of communication. It's a method of communication.
John, if there is a spirit of John here, please make a noise, John. Thank you, John. No, I tell you what, I really don't want to be down here later on in the dark.
No, it is. It's got us. Well, apart from the fact that it's also very cold, isn't it? It's
freezing cold.
Down here, I don't know what Kieran says about that.
It's colder than upstairs, definitely.
Yeah, well, maybe understandably so. But I feel very cold to the core.
It is absolutely freezing. Now, Leslie, who's been lurking down here in the prison cells, you know, like you do, what sort of things are correct historically with the things that Brian's been talking about?
When we get into the courtroom, I was really interested in the names of the witches. And you're bang on right, we've got Temperance Lloyd. Listen to that word, Temperance. I'm very pleased with that, Kieran, because at this point, at the time of the restoration of Charles II, that's what we're discussing, sure. It was most unusual in the 1680s to be involved in witchcraft trials. We were much easier about it. The worst of it was over, and had been over for some time. She did admit to it, actually, and it doesn't seem with torture either. So that in itself is interesting. Mary's right too. She was another witch. You haven't given a surname yet.
No.
There was another one as well you haven't given us yet, and then a third not at that trial later, but still tried here.
What about down here, though, very quickly?
Yeah, OK, very quickly. Let me just tell you these cells, if these are relatively modern, there have been cells here for a very, very long time. There's the Victorian bit, there's the 1773 bit, and you're picking up all of these layers. Now, I've found no less than 9 Johns, because, of course, it's a very common name from the 1788
Admittedly,
time.
it is. It's a common name now.
It is, but except there's an interesting thing about these ones. They were all exported to Botany Bay, or deported, rather, to Botany Bay, and for acts of, in most cases, violence. So I'm quite interested in that, of the ones you had. They were given 7 years in the new land, so I'm interested in that as well.
OK, well, I think we should come back here and do some vigils and possibly a séance by cell number 9, and hopefully we'll make contact with John.
Our apparent contact with some of the spirits and phantoms that appear to be held within the location make us impatient to switch to night vision. What shocks await in the coming hours of the night?
Angry big man.
Something's crying down here. What is it?
We commence in the cells, attempting to contact the spirit of a large man who Brian believes was held here awaiting trial for murder. Brian and I are joined by Leslie, Kath, Carl and Stuart, and our séance begins.
Do you sense anybody here, Brian?
Yes, there's very much someone here. There's the presence of a man.
It's gone cold up.
Bitter.
And also, I'm getting a
Who is
breeze
it?
across me, almost a draft. What did you do? You killed. This man is killed. He was deported. This man was deported, I'm pretty sure. He was steeped in violence.
He was.
Angry big man.
How old? Can you see how old he was?
Late 30s, maybe mid to late 30s, but very angry, burly, big man.
Any name?
Very, very violent, very violent. Cornelius Conley. Strong Cornelius Conley, I'm sure. Yes, the trip across was very rough, wasn't it?
Cornelius, are you with us now? Please, we want to know that you're here.
My face is itching.
Is it?
Crazy. Yeah.
He's an anger towards someone specific. Was it a captain, a ship's captain? Was it who? Phillips? Captain Phillips. And a great anger towards him. Great anger. So you were deported, yes. But you're here. So his spirit has come back here. In anger, his spirit is here with us now.
The smell of urine's overwhelming.
It's getting worse and worse, isn't it?
And the cold is so bitter. I can't believe you can't see our breath.
Oh no, I'm shivering.
Cornelius? Cornelius?
There's a sound to your
Oh,
Table's moving. Cornelius, maybe we could call Phillips for you and you can come face to face and battle it out. There's a black shadow coming.
well done. Go
I
on,
have to say,
Leslie.
just when you said that, they almost seem like somebody moving in that cell at the end.
I know you're back,
Hold
aren't
on.
you?
Horrible.
Oh, I can smell the wee now.
Oh, come on, Cornelius.
Yeah, it has. Come on, show us your anger. Show us your anger.
Sorry, Kath.
That's right.
You hurt.
Show us. Lift the table up.
God, that smell is awful.
Cold. You feel like you're going to start retching, don't you, with it? It's so bad.
I actually don't know if I can stay down here much longer. It's that bad.
The dark past of the courts is unfolding before us. Would the angry Cornelius, deported to Australia for his crimes, and Captain Phillips, master of the vessel that carried him, make further contact with us in the coming hours of darkness?
You're telling me no one's down that end at all?
No, it's just us.
I honestly thought one of you was walking around we're going to walk around the side.
The Most Haunted team are in Devon, investigating the old courts in Exeter. We've moved from the cells to the courtroom above, scene of Brian's apparent contact with women tried as witches. Would their anguish at such false accusations help them break through the mists of time and make contact with us?
Are there any... I don't feel at all apprehensive. I don't feel at all apprehensive.
I don't feel scared or... No.
Are you guilty? Are you innocent? Please make a noise. Now I can hear something very faint.
It's like a rumbling.
I can hear something very faint. There it is again, listen. Please make a noise. Walk towards us now. Thank you. Thank you. Can you make that noise twice? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please, if you're still here, can you knock twice for me? Sake, Kieran, what's wrong with your hearing? Jesus, right, okay, right, keep still.
Where are you hearing it from?
It's here.
Okay.
If you're still here, please knock twice for us. Come on. Right, you hear that?
Yeah, I heard
right,
that,
okay,
definitely.
fine. Come on. Right, you hear that?
Yeah, I heard
right,
that,
okay,
definitely.
fine.
Everybody step away from this. The sound definitely came from that direction, but it's just been nicer. We're not in contact with anything wooden that's in contact with the floor, but the sound definitely sounded like it was coming from over there.
Okay. Now let's ask again. Copy me, please. Not much energy here.
But at some point, Ian said that you couldn't hear it, but you could feel it from underneath. And it does sound as though it's coming more from the floor than any other area. So maybe what we should do is go downstairs into the cells, because that's underneath us, isn't it?
Yeah.
The team act on Kieran's suggestion, and joined by Leslie and Carl, we move back down to the cells, hoping to discover the source of the audibles that we have heard so clearly in the courtroom.
Hey, it's a bit creepy down here, isn't it? Oh, it's like being in some sort of like disaster movie. Oh, I hate this. This is horrid. This is horrid. Yeah, right, wait. This is horrid. This is where you come when you've got a torch somewhere. Shall I do it or not? Yeah, do it. Oh, well done, Les. Did you hear that moan? No.
What moan?
I heard a man moan.
Oh, not already.
Oh, well done, Les.
Did you hear a moan?
I didn't just then, but that's because I was kind of up there with
If there's anybody here, if there's a spirit person here now, or spirit people, astral beings.
Oh.
There.
What's that?
That was ever so clear.
What's that?
It
It was a whistle, Eva.
Yes.
Sounded like one. That sounded like it came from down here, though.
It did seem to come right from down there.
I'm not going, though.
Astral beings.
Whoa.
There. That's ever so clear.
Use your voice, please. If there is a spirit here, or spirits, astral beings that want to communicate with us, want to talk to us, please can you make a noise?
Tapping.
Yes, clear.
Tapping.
Hello? Please talk to us. Huh?
Who's down one? No one.
Where's Wicked?
Wicked's there.
Why is down there? Well, the camera's on last year. I'm sure I've seen somebody down there. I thought the camera was.
I can't see anyone, Kath.
Come on. Do something. Slam the door.
If there are any astral beings, if there are any spirit people now, walk towards us. I beg of you, I urge you, let us hear your footsteps. You haunt this place, people have seen you and heard you. Well, we've come to talk to you.
Something's crying out down here. Oh, it's coming down here. I can hear something crying.
Please, please, keep talking to us. If you need our help, we can give you help. I know you know who we are. Make the noise again. Use your voice. Throw something. Slam a door. Are you here, witches? Are you here? Show yourself. Shh. Listen. God, can you hear that? Show yourself. Shh. Listen. Oh, God. Listen. Yeah. Oh, God. Listen. Yeah. Mary. Mary. Darling. Darling. Listen to how clear that is. Carl, where are you?
I'm right down here.
Can you hear it?
I'm hearing a very light, like a whistle or a cry.
It's stronger here. Susanna! Mary! Molly!
Is anyone else down here?
No.
My end.
No.
And that goes up and up there.
What? What? What's the matter?
You're telling me no one's down that end at all?
No, it's just us. Listen.
Why? I honestly thought one of you was walking around we're going to walk around the side there. It was like heavy clothing. It wasn't that. It was almost like if Stuart had walked with his leather jacket around there then.
Let's call out again.
Why don't we go down there and see?
Yeah, sure. Lead the way to where you...
Well, let's go this side, go on the other side.
Okay. Come towards us, please. We've introduced ourselves to you. We can hear the noises. We need our help.
Oh.
Heard that?
Yeah. You need our help. Please. We've come to talk to you. Can you bang one of the doors? Let us see you. Show yourself in white light or show yourself as energy.
Are they? Why?
I don't know.
Why did you say that?
That was right here.
Because my teeth are aching.
They used to pull the teeth out sometimes.
No, they didn't.
They did.
If you're here now, you just made that noise. Thank you. Can you make it again? Make it again. Make that noise again.
I know you can do it. There.
Is there just you here? Just you? Do you mean us harm? Tap twice or make a noise with your voice if you do.
And again.
Yeah.
you just picked up a black shadow going across my face as you were calling out, and he just whispered to me to do the same motion that I was doing with the thermal imager, stood in the same place, and it didn't have the same shadow effect.
Have we got it fully on camera?
He saw it looking into the viewfinder, so he should have it.
Hopefully. Ian seems to have captured an odd anomaly on camera of what appears to be a black shadow. Eager to make further contact with this phantom, we remain beneath the courtroom. Leslie and Kath join me in one cell, whilst Kieran, Stuart and Carl take a cell each. Ian waits in the corridor, trying to catch further evidence of this strange shadow.
What's that banging noise?
Sounds like a door.
Yeah, listen. What's that banging noise? Stu?
I'm listening to that.
Can you hear it?
I can hear it loud and clear.
Come towards us now. Lock us in. If you mean harm, lock us in. This is your chance. If you mean us harm, scare us. Terrify us, if you want. If you... Oh, you feel that?
It's like a gust, cold gush of air. What's
What was that? Was that you?
I don't know, it flipping wasn't.
Was that you?
Because you can feel your tummy rumbling.
No, it wasn't me either.
What's that?
What was that? Was that you?
I don't know, it flipping wasn't. Temperance. There. Temperance. There.
Who's Temperance?
One of the witches. Her first name is Temperance.
Funny name.
Well, Puritan names, things like loving the Lord and... Temperance. Mary.
Though we hear further unexplainable noises, we are not rewarded by a further appearance of the strange shadow. Will this weird entity make itself known to us again as our investigation reaches its frightening conclusion?
Do you know, I've not been this scared for a long time.
The most haunted investigation of Exeter's old courts is reaching its frightening climax. We've had so much incredible contact, strangest of which has been a black shadow, which we are hoping to put more substance to before our vigil ends. With this in mind, we decide that the cells will be the obvious place to elicit further activity, and Carl elects to hold a lone vigil within their darkness.
Right. Strange because you've been down there all day, and now I'm down on my own. It's a completely different matter. Hello? Is anyone here? What the f***? Everyone else is accounted for. Hello? I mean you no harm. I hope you don't mean me any harm. Do you know I've not been this scared for a long time? What? Hello? What? Okay, 10's just closed. Oh! Sorry, I've just seen it. Hello? There's nothing in there. It's right up to the corners. Hello? How can I get out? I can't get out there. Oh. Okay. I don't mean you any harm. Please don't hurt me. If I could see properly, I would run like a rat with a Reebok out this joint. Please don't hurt me. I've kind of done now. Don't slam any more doors. Right, I'm done.
The audibles seem to suggest that the cells hold some tormented soul, and Carl becomes disorientated as to his surroundings and ends his lone vigil. However, I am determined that we have more to learn and return to the cells with Brian, Kieran, Leslie and Kath in another attempt to bring the spirit of Cornelius to the light.
Tell you what, it's got even colder now. That's a fact. At least I'm colder.
Feels like we're being followed around.
Well, yeah.
Doesn't it?
It does.
We've been watched or followed. I think we probably are. Do you not get that feeling of such oppression down here, of desperation? And now I just think we're being followed.
Is it Cornelius again?
I don't know, but do you know what? I think it probably could be.
Yvette, could I just make a statement?
Yes, go.
Really, because I'd like to do that because I've just found it. Right, Cornelius Connolly, I can confirm on the 7th of August 1786, was brought here for assault and highway robbery. He got 7 years. He would have got, of course, the death sentence and was sent over to Sydney. I can tell you that the captain of the ship was called Phillips. But I tell you what, that's flipping accurate, that is, Brian. That's outstanding.
But I tell you what, that man is back here.
With us now?
Why would he
It's
come
an
back
anger
here?
that drives him back here. A desire to be back here. For his spirit to be back here. Sheer anger. There's something about wanting revenge.
Oh, what's that smell?
I don't know, but it's back the wee again.
No,
It
what's
is.
that smell?
The stink of wee.
Can you smell it, Kieran?
No.
It's a funny smell.
And sort of eggy a bit as well,
Yes,
isn't
it is. Kieran, what do you think to the fact that Brian got the name and the name of the ship's captain? And
Oh, I think it's more impressive than getting. No offence, Brian. It's more impressive than getting the name John, because it's a common name. Cornelius is not a common name, and we've actually got it on the records. Which
Listen, Karen. No,
It's not a lab.
No offence taken.
Cornelius! Was that you, Brian?
No.
Oh my Shall I tell you what the hell that was? I swear to God, it was what? Cornelius! Was that you, Brian?
No.
Cornelius! Was that you, Brian?
No.
Come on, Cornelius! There it is again! There it is again! There it is again! Did you hear it?
Coming our way.
All right.
Brian!
Coming our way. God's sake.
Dan.
Did you not hear it running? Did you not hear that running?
I didn't hear the running because everybody was running.
No, but it was a proper run. Everybody had stopped running and then it was a continuation of this.
Sorry.
About that. Okay.
Yeah, I heard that, but I just thought people were still shuffling
No,
around.
they'd stopped. They were here.
Which way
I've
was
got them
coming
on
from?
camera. So it stopped and
Okay.
then you hear.
All right.
Brian!
Coming our way.
All right.
Brian!
Coming our way. Cornelius, if you're with us, come forward. Come from these shadows. Come from your hiding place.
Shadows more.
We can feel your anger. We can feel it build. Be known to us. Do something. Make yourself known now.
Oh! Did you hear it, Brian? Did you hear it? Did you hear it?
Here.
Did you hear it, Kieran?
Yeah.
Make yourself known now.
Oh! Did it say?
I don't know where it came from though. I don't know which direction.
Here somewhere.
We're talking about, I don't want to say a groan because I'm immediately telling you something, that there's that sort of sound like,
like a
It's around here.
Dogged by audibles and what sound like disembodied footsteps, our investigation continued both individually and in small groups throughout the remaining hours of the night. Unfortunately, our vigils drew no further activity from the location, and we brought the investigation to its close. After all we had experienced, I wondered how ever sceptical Dr. Kieran O'Keefe would explain away our encounters.
The majority of the phenomena experienced by the team at Exeter Old Courts happened below ground. The most fascinating phenomena did happen in the cells area, and for this we had visual, auditory and other sensory experiences. At one point, the entire group conducted a vigil walking around the cells area, and a number of people experienced very different phenomena. Carl actually said that he saw a visual apparition, or at least described it initially as a shadow of a figure walking at one end of the corridor. Let's focus carefully on the words that he used. It's the shadow of a figure, so immediately he attributed a human form to a shadow. Therefore, a sceptical explanation could be that we're dealing with corner of the eye phenomena. A smaller vigil was conducted with Yvette, Leslie, Brian and myself. We concentrated on one particular corridor in the cell area. Brian very quickly picked up on the presence of a spirit that seemed to be quite nasty, in his words. Now, it may not be 100% clear with the footage that we've got from this particular vigil, but coincident with Brian saying that this particular presence was moving towards the group, Yvette thought that she saw something moving towards us, a shadow, and possibly a natural explanation for it, but regardless, something was moving towards us. She screamed, Leslie screamed, Brian ran back towards the group. One of us kept our camera focused on the corridor in case there was actually anything paranormal there. But the interesting thing is, even after everybody stopped moving, Yvette screamed again because there were additional footsteps.
All right.
The fascinating thing about this particular phenomena is Yvette had the camera trained on Leslie and Brian, and I had the camera focused on the corridor. And it appears, for all intents and purposes, as if everybody in that particular group was stood perfectly still, and yet we were still hearing footsteps. Skeptics out there would argue that we didn't have the camera trained on everybody's feet at that point where we heard the footsteps. That's a valid argument, but at the end of the day, I think this particular phenomena was the most impressive captured by the team at the Exeter Old Courts.
Our vigils within the incredible atmosphere of Exeter's Old Courts have produced some strange and fascinating phenomena that no amount of rational theorising could truly explain away. Had we once again drawn back the veil that separates the living from the dead? It's up to you to decide. Until next time, sleep tight.
And the terror continues tonight here on Living with an investigation into the so-called killer clown. All new Conversations with a Serial Killer is next.